Hey everybody, welcome to SoulsReaper Healing. I'm Brandy. I wanted to give you guys a message today that I was given on February 4th by the Holy Spirit. They let me know something that was going on within my own life, but not something that I really recognized. And I felt like this might benefit some of you guys out there in the collective. So, we're going to talk about it, okay? Basically, male or female, doesn't really matter. You know, we're all masculine and feminine energy. But the question that was brought up to me is, because they sent it to me this way: ladies, are you looking for the father that you did not have growing up? Or are you looking for the father you did have growing up? Whether we realize it internally or not, eventually we get to the understanding that we are indeed looking for our own father in every man we meet. Why do you think we find toxic relationships? Now, understandably, this doesn't apply if you had the greatest dad in the world. However, if it's not your father, it could be you looking for your mother or any other person that, raised you when you were a child. Typically, this applies, for males dealing with their mother more than females, but it can be interchangeable. We can look for our mother or father or anyone that raised us, because that is our first relationship on this planet after we're born, is whoever raised us. Our parents, grandparents, aunties, etc., whomever raised us, was the first relationships we observed growing up. So knowing what we do about how children learn and what their prime age is to retain information, we know it's from birth to age 7. So within that time frame, they observe and learn through repetition and patterns what they see, what they feel, and they mimic from those relationships. If this pattern doesn't change, it unfortunately becomes a pattern they carry into their teen years and into adulthood, which is what I did. Then other patterns and beliefs are stacked on top of the first one, which was faulty and not stable to begin with, therefore creating a whole new wave or generation of individuals that are a mirror or a clone or a reinvention of our first relationship. This has been a never-ending cycle for centuries. Until we can all understand this, it will unfortunately continue. This is about self-realization, accountability, and action for change. Blame is not the answer either, because that is a program of victim mentality, which does not help you heal and change the root issue. The only one we can fix is us. We can't change anyone. We can only bring awareness. What others choose to do with this information is up to them. Ask yourself this: are you truly happy? Are you fulfilled within yourself? Do you truly feel free? If any of these are no, then why not try something different? Why not take a chance by doing something different and making a different choice? Always changes things, big or small. Staying in a pattern may seem comfortable, but it's not living. It's not evolving. It's not period. Change is not comfortable at first, but flow is peaceful and easy. So as we come to these realizations, it is a little scary, for change. especially when you're dealing with deep-rooted issues, things that, you know, we're all dealing with a lot of these things from childhood, you know, but also understanding that our parents were recreating what they were raised to believe. And this has gone on for centuries. But in order for us to heal ourselves and then in turn be able to change the way that we teach our children, because we want our children to be on a solid foundation, build from a solid foundation. In order for us to do that, we ourselves have to come from a healed place. Addressed a lot of those childhood wounds and programs, and understanding that, you know, it isn't about blame, you know, this person, that person. I did have another come up, which is relating to this. I used to get this card a lot. Using the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle, I used to draw the blame card a lot. And I, you know, throughout my journey, a lot of times I didn't understand why I drew that card, and it was because of victim consciousness. But I'll read, you know, this to you. This was brought to my attention. God gave this information to me on February 8th. Blame. I draw this card a lot in the oracle cards I use. If you're blaming anything outside of self, it is time to reflect. If need, or basically the way to address this is, and this is my own, how I learned how to address this. You guys can utilize anything that works for you. But what I did was, number one, I removed the people out of the equation. That makes it easier for you to look at just the situation itself. Find the pattern or the root issue after you've removed the people out of the situation, and just look at the situation itself. You'll start to see a pattern. You can look back, you know. I do this a lot when I journal. I look back a year ago and see where I was, and if it's the same and nothing has changed, then there's something within me that I have not changed. And then you just, it's almost, and it sounds crazy, but it's almost kind of looking at something like it's a math problem, you know, or because there's no people. You take the people out. It's kind of like a math problem, honestly. And then you try to, and you'll actually be able to see it, especially like whenever I first noticed patterns. I started noticing patterns with other people before I actually noticed the patterns within myself. So it was an understanding that, you know, we're all going through this. And that also helps with our compassion and understanding that each one of us learns differently. We're all working on a lot of the same traumas, issues, programming. We're working on a lot of the same things. But in order for us to get to this place and start seeing where this pattern stems from, you can start identifying when it started and what was going on when it started. Because sometimes it can be just a moment that triggered you, that triggered that inner child within you and then in turn that inner child set up a boundary to protect yourself, to protect you. Because all of this is about things that are within yourself. So, as I got further down, because this was kind of a, once this was given to me, I just wrote it as it was coming to me. Manifesting, which it all ties in with these things, because we manifest the things we tell ourselves every day. Example, I have anxiety. I am a smoker. I am not worthy. I am, you know, all these things we tell ourselves. And since we tell them to ourselves, we believe them to be true. But are they true? It was all something created by by us as a child to protect us. But it's actually keeping us stuck in a perpetual cycle. Change your I ams to I am beautiful. I am excited. I am healthy. I am loving. I am peaceful. I am compassionate. I am patient. You can even use this, you know, with everything in your life. I am healthy. You know, and yes, a lot of these things require action within yourself. But once you start changing the things that you tell yourself, you will start to see changes. Let's go to the next one here. The labels we give people, places, things in our lives play a huge role in it. Everything is labeled, period. I mean, we can look all around us, you know, everything is labeled. You know, everything. There's a label on everything. Different beliefs and upbringing labeled certain things good or bad. Depending upon the upbringing, what may be good or bad to one may also be good or bad to the other. These labels have created division in so many ways, in every aspect of our lives on this planet. It can be difficult to look at things differently at first because it is a pattern. Patterns take time to change. It's a reprogram. Kind of think of your brain as a computer. You're reprogramming that file. You're changing that belief within yourself. So you're reprogramming. But by taking the first step to change it, we then create a new pattern, which ultimately is, there is no pattern. To be free of burden and love self, free of fear, ridicule, abandonment, etc. Freedom. And that's what happens when you get to that space, when you finally released control, fear, and looked within yourself, and accountability, you know, understanding that once you can take accountability for the things that you and I, and you know, because we are all creators. We create our reality. We create what goes on in our reality. And I understand at first that can be triggering to hear. I know it was to me when I heard that myself. I was like, what? There's no way. There's no way. But I didn't understand the things that I do now. Once you get to that place, you do truly become free, because then there's not that pattern. You start changing the way you look at things, the way you think about things. You know, you open up, your heart chakra opens up. You're able to be more loving and open and free from the fear and all of the things that you were raised to believe, all the things that that little child inside of you told you that you had to do to stay safe, because that's what that child wants you to do. The child just wants you to be safe. So I wrote this right after, and it says this in the Bible. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So ask yourself, who is the beholder? You are. You are the beholder. Each person can see the same thing you see in a billion different ways. What do you feel within your heart when you see? When you see certain things, when you feel certain things, you have a realization, an epiphany moment. Then you observe that feeling that you have. We have been so attached to thought and have strayed away from feeling. Part of that is our inner child wanting to protect us, because I myself as a child thought that I couldn't show my emotion. Believed that because whenever I showed emotion, I was basically, shut down. I don't want to hear about it. Don't talk about your emotions. You figure that out. We have been so attached to thought and have strayed away from feeling. So, in turn, not having balance between the two. And then I ask myself, ego, what is it really? I believe it is a part of us that we created as children to protect us from ever being hurt. As we grew older, we created more things to be protected from, whether they were us feeling scared, not safe, not loved, afraid of being alone, etc. We are very creative as children and tell ourselves a lot of things and believe a lot of things that we thought were true, and we carried that into adulthood. So basically this is just a little message for today that I wanted to talk about. Because honestly, I know I'm not the only one that has, gone through things throughout my life. My journey and a lot of our journeys are fairly similar. A lot of us have been through a lot of rough things. But I know once we start, and all you have to do is start, just start paying attention to these things when certain emotions are brought up, and try to identify why you're having that emotion, where is it coming from, and try to think back to when that started. When did I first start feeling this way? But anyways, I just thought this would be something I would share with you guys for today. I will do the next 3 zodiacs. If not today, it will be tomorrow. But this is kind of a food for thought video, And wish you guys a wonderful Valentine's Day. Open your heart. Go after your dreams. And I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.